r/ShortScaryStories. Birthday Girl by Gosha293. Good morning, sunshine. Time to wake up. I open my eyes and see Nurse Judy, ready to give me my morning injection. I sit on the bed and roll up my pajama sleeve. I feel the needle under my skin and the medication flowing inside my veins. The nurse gives me a wide smile. Good girl. You can go to the canteen now and have breakfast with your friends. Friends? I don't have any friends here. My friends are almost 60 miles away from me, enjoying life, learning new stuff, making out at parties. Certainly not spending their youth in a psychiatric ward. My parents put me there. It was after another anxiety attack at school. I lost control and tried to do something stupid. Now everything seems stupid to me. I pass by Nutsy Nora's room. Her yelling is impossible to ignore. She keeps screaming Kelly and Jenna over and over again, whatever these names mean. I see two doctors rushing to her room with a set of tranquilizers. This place is full of people like her. I don't think I belong here. I enter the canteen and hear a loud, "Surprise!" I look around and see other patients gathered around a cake with number candles, 1 and 7, and an inscription, "Happy birthday, Robin." Right, it's my 17th birthday. Yay, I totally forgot. I force myself to smile and blow out the candles. The cake tastes like soap or cough syrup. I hide both candles in my pocket when nobody's watching. I guess it's the only gift I can count on today. I stop one of the nurses on the way back to my room. I ask if my parents are going to see me. She shrugs and walks away without saying a word. Bitch. As I lay in bed, I stretch my arms and look at my hands. They look so weird. So damn weird. Maybe it's a side effect of one of those medications? Nurse Judy interrupts my contemplation. She storms in with an afternoon dosage of pills. How are you feeling, my dear? Did you like your birthday surprise? She asks with an annoyingly sweet smile. Yeah, I forgot today's the day. She takes my hand and says, "Oh, don't worry, darling. It happens to everyone." As she holds my hand, I ask her why my skin looks so strange. She gives me a sympathetic gaze. I think it's normal at your age. Don't you think so, sweetie? Is she trying to make a fool of me? I've had enough. But I'm only 17, I say imploringly. I don't know any other teenager with hands like this. Just look. I take the candles out of my pocket and almost rub them in her face. You see? 1 and 7. 17, I bellow. Judy gently takes the candles from my shaking hands. Robin, it's not 17. Let me show you the right order. It's 7 and 1. 71. My Family by Pansyk. I died 8 years ago. It wasn't particularly tragic or unusual, just a car accident. I don't blame the man who hit me. He was speeding because his wife was in labor, and there was black ice on the road. He lost control of the car, and I lost my life. It's not his fault. I know that. I'm not cruel, and I'm not vengeful. If anything, I'm the opposite. You see, I don't have any family left, and I had lost my few friends around that time. When it was time for my funeral, the only people who came was my boss and the family who killed me. The wife held her newborn close to her chest. I hated my boss, and the cemetery was awfully lonely, so I followed the family home. Lily may as well have been my own flesh and blood. She was sweet and bright, and oh so very small. She had trouble sleeping if someone wasn't rocking her crib, and her parents were so tired. After they put her to bed, it was easy for me to rock her crib for her. I didn't get tired. I could help her. As the years passed, Jack and Lori realized they weren't alone in the house. It didn't take long from there to make a connection between my funeral and when I had showed up, and I'd never been malevolent, so they weren't afraid or angry. They started to burn candles on the anniversary of my death day. They left an empty chair for meals and holidays. I really felt like a member of the family. Someone is trying to force the door. It's Lori's ex. He's obsessive. He's angry. He's going to hurt the family. My family. The thing about ghosts is that the more offerings you get, the stronger you become. I'd been enjoying candles, trinkets, and even the occasional food item for the past 5 years. I was strong from that. The knife feels warm in my hand, a shock of heat against the ice of my skin. Lori, Jack, and Lily are my family. I care about them, and they're not gonna join me yet. An Event of Nuclear Disaster by Flip Fifth. With each passing day, it was becoming more obvious that the war would not have a peaceful end. All over America, people received a letter from their government. It contained a simple pamphlet with a short set of instructions and pictures. In event of nuclear disaster, the looming threat of the Eastern Bloc is growing. In order to save yourself and your family, it is of the utmost importance that you act now. Build a fallout shelter. Dig a hole in your garden. Make it 8 by 4 by 6 feet at least. See pictures. If you don't own a garden, find a suitable spot somewhere else, even if it's on someone else's land. The law has been changed to allow people to build a shelter each. In case of a nuclear threat, you are to bring your family into the hole and cover it with a door. Make sure the door has weights fastened to it. See pictures. If you hear a detonation, wait approximately 2 hours before you leave the shelter to be sure there are not more bombs coming. Good luck. The following days, people busied themselves with the aforementioned instructions. It was a very strange sight. The whole of Central Park, New York was filled with these makeshift shelters. Driving down the street, you could see one by every house. And when the alarm sounded, people scrambled into them. Those who had not built a shelter of their own forced their way into others. In hindsight, it's impossible to know how many people believed the shelters would actually save them, and how many realized that they had simply been asked to dig their own graves. Wars are expensive, and every penny counts. 10 Simple Rules for Surviving the Apocalypse by WinsomeJesse. 1. Find a breathing mask immediately. There are things in the air, small microscopic things, that float like pollen and enter through your nose and mouth. If you've ever been out and thought you smelled something sweet, like cotton candy, it's too late. Your lungs are about to liquefy, slowly, cell by cell. Sorry about that. 2. Only drink from fast-moving streams. It doesn't matter if you've got a water filtration unit. Never collect from lakes or ponds. It's not because the dead bodies, it's the half-dead ones. They can stay down there for months at a time, just waiting for someone who doesn't know better. 3. Stay away from settlements. Any half-decent settlement already has too many mouths to feed. If you ask, they'll let you in, but they won't let you stay. They've got all those hungry mouths after all. 4. Don't eat the birds. I don't know what these new birds are, but they smell like tar and their meat can burn a hole in your throat. Stick with canned goods and cockroaches. 5. It's safe to travel by night, but if you hear a sound like a ticking stopwatch, stand perfectly still and wait until the sun comes up. They'll pass you by as long as you don't move. 6. Don't aim for the heart or the brain. Aim for the legs, if they can walk. Aim for the arms if they can crawl. Don't assume anything will stay down for good. Just make sure you can run faster than they can. 7. Red sores heal with time. White sores will rot you down to the bone within 48 hours. Remove the limb. Cauterize the wound. That should buy you a few weeks at least. 8. The living don't knock. If you're holed up somewhere with 4 walls and hear someone knocking, ignore it. Whatever it is needs you to let them in, and you really don't want to do that. 9. Don't be alarmed if you see angels. It's normal to see beings of soft light descending from the heavens. It just means there are parasites attached to your optic nerves. They can't kill you, they'll just consume your eyeballs from the inside out. 10. Always leave 1 bullet for yourself. It's a brave, difficult thing to make a life here work after all, but eventually you'll get tired. Eventually you'll see that all the things you can do during the apocalypse, surviving might just be the worst. But that's for you to discover. Until then, good luck. Plaguespreader by ArlinBradley. I'm infected. You know what I'm infected with. You saw it on the news. The World Health Organization called it a pandemic the other day. I never thought it would infect me, but it did. Now I don't know what to do. Unlike some people my age, I don't have a salary. I don't have any sick days. I used them all when I sprained my ankle in January. Brett says I need a doctor's note to get paid leave. You know, to make sure I'm not capitalizing on the paranoia to dodge shifts. He doesn't want to set a precedent. Problem is, I can't afford the bill. Sure, it's not a $100,000 heart attack bill, but $175 for a checkup is almost half a week's pay. I know I need to self-quarantine, but I don't have any savings. I can't pay rent if I don't go out and make rent money. You know what I need to do, but I'm not sure I have the stomach to do it. I checked the clock and down to Wendelin shot. 45 minutes until my shift starts. Gotta get moving. Donning a medical mask, I broke quarantine. As I rode the bus, Disease spewed from my mouth like a thick green fog. My noxious gases carried malicious little germs. A child looked up at me. Microscopic predators scurried across her skin, into her eyes and mouth. Soon, she too looked green. I imagined her sick and dying. I imagined all the people her infernal vapors would infect. She smiled at me. Smile while you can, little one. Smile before the plague begins. Getting off the bus, I watched 1,000 subtle suicides. A man on a bench licked ketchup off his hand and began leaking green. A little boy sipped from a public fountain and began leaking green. A woman already leaking kissed her husband, regurgitating green into his mouth like a mother bird. Misty leak hugged the ground, ripe for breathing. I coughed. Bystanders recoiled. If they only saw what I could see, they would break down in tears. When I showed up at work, Brett yelled at me and told me to take off my mask. He told me I'm scaring away the customers while spitting leak like a toxic flamethrower. I protested, but he insisted. Just wash your hands, he said. It'll be fine. I washed my hands, dirtying them again the second they touched my breath. By the time I'd gotten ready and clocked in, plague filled the building like a tainted hotbox. I thought about leaving. I thought about running away, but I didn't. Instead, I put on a smile and greeted my next victim. Welcome to Burger King. May I take your order?